Morning to all, attendees, speakers, and organizers. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present and share the advances on our investigation project. Today, I will present the results from the design and use of registry tables with unified criteria created to confront the preliminary phases of evaluation and diagnosis of cultural heritage. The subject, titled Design of Tables with Unified Criteria for the Preliminary Phases of the Study of Cultural Heritage, Risk Indicators and Priorities, will be presented through an introduction to the context and problematic from where the study emerged, presenting its objective, the followed methodology, the given results up till today, and ending with a presentation of the reflection and the more representative conclusion to comprehend the method. This investigation came from different professional experiences, from which those conducted in Mexico have been the most representative. Thanks to the possibility of facing the study of this immensely rich historical, cultural, and artistic environment, we find ourselves faced with operative limitation. The largest problematic derives from the need to evaluate the conservational state of study groups characterized by the plurality of elements, techniques, and materials in condition of limited resources. The multiple variables that a cultural heritage conservation and restoration professional can face during the preliminary phases of diagnosis, along with the observation, registration, analysis, estimation, and interpretation of the information activities, have fed the concern of investigating the creation of a registration methodology that can answer to conditions characterized by a major resource availability, with the purpose of comprehending the conservation issues and thus prioritizing and organizing the correct analysis, study, and concrete conservation actions. Therefore, the general objective of the study has been the design of a strategy for the recollection and analysis of data through the creation of registration table with unified criteria useful to face the preliminary evaluation phases of the conservational problematic of the test subjects. In order to achieve this objective, a methodology was established, composed by 3 stages: design of the method, implementation of the method, and result evaluation. The core elements of the study are focused toward the establishment of an operative strategy that takes into account the use of unified criteria and the need of basic resources to be implemented. This has been made possible due to the interdisciplinary approach followed, inspired by contribution from different disciplines. In the first phase, dedicated to the design of the method, the specific terminology about alteration and deterioration of stone material and mural paintings was gathered, referencing the glossaries made by the EvaGloss and ICOMOS project. The registration structure and data analysis was inspired by the contribution of statistical science and specifically on the study of ecology. In the second phase, dedicated to the implementation of the method, study cases were selected in order to apply the designed method to real-life experiences, evaluating its scope. For mural paintings, those in the Portillo Hacienda were chosen, and for stone materials, we chose the sculptures and decorative elements on the Baroque temple facade in the city of San Luis Potosí, Mexico. In the third stage, the information given by the method was presented, thus delimiting its advantages and limitations. The proposed operational strategy is supported on prototypes of registry tables structured in two axes, where the vertical axis details the specific terminology for alteration and deterioration recollected from illustrated glossaries, whilst the horizontal axis houses the alphanumerical coordinated corresponding to each element or area of study defined as sample. The compliance model of the worksheet refers to the abundance metrics employed in the field of ecology for the study and measurement of biodiversity. To allow the approximate superficial extent of alteration and deterioration evaluation in the same registry phase, reference parameters were established, looking to provide the method for recollecting information quickly and easily. These have been established in values ranging between 1 and 4, where each number has a specific superficial dissemination percent according to the reference image. Here is the prototype of the registry worksheet with unified criteria generated for mural paintings and following the one generated for stone material. The entry of the information followed by data analysis was done in digital worksheets, in this case Excel, previously endowed with the mathematical formula necessary, thus generating values finally defined as conservational and priority risk indicators. In his part of the study, 34 stone sculptures were studied and 14 areas of decorative mural painting. The resource investment necessary for the application of the method was by a professional conservator restorer endowed with registry table, photographic registry means, and a laptop with Excel for data capturing. The necessary time for the information registry based upon photographs was 2 hours and 25 minutes for the sculptures and 2 hours for the mural paintings. For the data analysis, 2 hours and 25 minutes and 2 hours were employed, respectively. The information and data generated thanks to the study were composed by photographic registry, alteration and deterioration present registered, data analysis, generation of conservational risk indicators, graphic representation of the information, determination of the piece or area with the high conservational risk, identification of the alteration and deterioration present in each element or section, and estimation of the affected surface for each phenomena. Presented here is the global data on the state of the collection, represented in this case by the decorative mural paintings in the interior courtyard of the Portillo's hacienda. Following, we observe the obtained values thanks to the risk indicators, which allow to identify the most unstable piece and characterized by a higher plurality of alteration. Through this punctuation, it is possible to translate the information in graphic representation that allow for a quick identification of the most problematic areas at the conservational level. In the table, the alterations registered in Simple 3 are itemized, identified as an area of high conservational risk along its estimated surface extent. Here, we present an approximation to the general state of the marble sculptures in the Metropolitan Cathedral facade. In this slide, it is possible to appreciate the conservational risk indicator specific to each sample, alongside the graphic representation of the numerical values generated. In the case, sample 10 result has the highest conservational risk. Specific problematics are listed in the table along its surface estimate. The presented advances of the study responded to the needs and concerns which propelled its birth, establishing a strategy for the registration of the visible alteration and deterioration on the study groups, which will contemplate the use of unified terminology and allow for a clear, simple, and representative recollection of the problems present, all with a minimal resource investment. The organization of the data recollection, thanks to the contribution of illustrated glossaries and the statistical science, has allowed to identify areas and Ps with higher conservational risk, thanks to the generation of a specific indicator, which we define here as conservational risk indicator. The use of an abundance matrix inspired by those employed in the field of ecology has allowed the registration of alteration and deterioration present along with the surface extent, bringing after the information analysis qualitative which and what and quantitative how much, a global and specific approach to the conservational problematics in the collection and in each element that composes it. In conclusion, in light of the presented experiences, we can affirm that the proposed strategy responded to the needs of minimal resource investment, providing data of medium precision, useful for the comprehension of the general and specific conservational problematic in each case study. The method, because of its characteristics, possesses potential to give way to the implementation of statistical studies, thanks to the structure and values adopted as registration means. It can be incorporated to follow up and monitoring action to intervened cultural assets, aside from having versatility characteristic to be employed in virtual evaluation or in emergency situations such as earthquakes or other natural disasters. Among the limitations of the method, it is important to mention that the information provided responds to the minimal necessary resources for its implementation, and this undoubtedly influences the depth of attained information. The data obtained has to be critically evaluated by a conservation professional who, through his own experience and formation, is in charge of evaluating and discerning the data in view of taking advantage of the method's potential. The rich and complex Mexican cultural heritage presents the starting point for the birth and development of the method, and has to be considered representative of the condition of other cultural realities. A context that allows for deep reflection, generating the concern of being able to create a simple, versatile, and dynamic operating tool to be employed in the majority of contexts, and whose reach could contemplate in the future the active participation of the agents delegated to the tutelage of cultural heritage. I thank again the organizing committee and the Valencia Polytechnic University for the opportunity to present this subject through this Congress, and the San Luis Potosí Autonomous University, where the basis for this study were laid. Thank you for your attention